we've got some fun stuff to get into. The Jake Paul and Ben Askren fight. I don't know who did anybody in the chat, or if you're listening this days after, please comment and let me know if you spent money to watch that fight. If you did, I'm really sorry for you. Um, I watched a couple of streams titled Fortnite with the Boys. That's how I got to see parts of it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it was something. A lot of people are really shitting on like the Triller the app. So for people that don't know, there was this big fight this weekend. Jake Paul, YouTuber, pretty awful human being all around person. I mean, I don't know him personally, but a lot of shit that comes out about this guy is that he's not very nice. And a lot of people want to see his ass get knocked out, and he was fighting a former MMA fighter who's retired, 36 years old, Ben Askren, who is known for not really being able to like have any striking power, but could take a beating. World class wrestler, and won a lot of fights. He was like 19-2 in the MMA. So a lot of people were like, it's kind of up in the air, I guess. I'd say a lot of people thought Ben could kick his ass, actually. But the fight came and went. It lasted about 25 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, the actual fight. But the lead up to it was like 4 hours on Triller, and it was a $50 pay-per-view that you got some like live music, it was basically like a concert, and then there was like some other silly stuff like this slapping segment where these two big dudes like slap the hell out of each other. And I gotta say, like, I thought that Snoop Dogg and Pete Davidson were like the saving grace of the entire broadcast. Like, they were the best things about it. The slap thing was pretty funny, but the one guy like kept like flinching. I don't know, it was weird. You'd have to look up. I'm sure there's highlights somewhere. But basically this thing was like all over the place. All the announcers were like drugged out, basically. The singers were all messed up as well. Justin Bieber, like, I love Justin Bieber. Okay, I loved a lot of Justin Bieber's music. His Tiny Desk concert is like one of my favorite Tiny Desk concerts. But like, he performed Peaches, which he performed also in his Tiny Desk concert, and his like voice cracked, and then he forgot that he had to do another song after that. He thought he was done, so I think like he was maybe just having a little too good of a time. And yeah, it was all over the place. The broadcast really, it was like kind of all like thrown together. There was these random people fighting that I didn't really give a shit about. And they all sucked. One dude pretended to get hit in the nuts when he got hit in the side so that he could quit. And just, it was weird. And then the fight happens, right? Jake Paul, Ben Askren fight. Like I said, it literally, I think Moist Critical said as a joke that it fit in a Twitter GIF, and it actually does. Like, the entire fight was like 20 seconds long. And basically, Jake lands one punch to one right hand to Ben, and Ben like throws his hands up and falls to the ground, gets right back up, and the ref ends up calling it early right there. And Ben doesn't seem very upset about it. He's actually leaving, smiling. He just made $500,000 plus whatever he got on the back end. It's kind of crazy. Some people think that the fight was fixed, and I can't 100% disagree with them, because I don't think. I'll present both sides of the argument. So people think that Ben Askren threw the fight, like that he was paid to throw the fight. Now, that I disagree with. I don't think that Ben, especially hearing him talk, like, I didn't know a whole lot about him until the whole press run for this fight. But Ben is a storied athlete, world class. Like I said, he was like 19-2 in the MMA, took plenty of beatings and came back and won matches. He was like, just insane at wrestling. I think he was like national champion and in the Olympics for wrestling. So very, very good athlete. And I think too, as a competitor, I don't think he would take the money to do that. But what I will say is that I think, and people are saying that they think like he fell down on purpose and stayed and like lost on purpose. But I think what happened was that he did get caught with the right hand, got knocked to the ground, and then got up right away just fine. But I think that potentially the ref may have been under some someone might be influencing the ref's decision to call that fight stupidly early. I mean, Ben was completely fine. He wasn't even like, he literally wobbled for like a half second. I'm good. Ref said, no, you're not. He goes, yes, I am. No, you're not. We're done. Calls it. Ben doesn't care. He gets $500,000 whether he keeps fighting or not. He knows he didn't get knocked out, so it doesn't bother him. He just got all his social medias boosted from this whole thing, and he wants to do a podcast. I don't know if he is already podcasting or not, but he keeps mentioning it. And it's kind of crazy to think. Like, the whole situation is a little crazy. I personally did want to see Jake Paul lose for sure, but the whole scenario, like the whole situation, is set up like a fucking WWE storyline. Like, this weird event that Jake Paul has like a big part in planning. The best ring announcer of all time gets Ben Askren's name wrong on purpose. Ben's like introduction is meant to look ridiculously stupid. All of the the promotions during the broadcast were just showing Jake Paul. Then they do this whole little piece about Jake Paul's someone in his circle. I think it was like his bodyguard passed away recently, which is absolutely, that's terrible. That's super sad. And they like made the whole fight seem like it was like this fight for this guy. And it was like trying to paint Jake in like a really respectable manner, I feel. And then like the outcome of it was just a little ridiculous that it was called so early. But I'd be curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. I definitely think that Ben, I don't know that he would have won. He was his stance, and I mean the way Ben looked, honestly, like physically, one of the announcers said that he is built like a bag of milk, which I'd never heard that said before as an insult, but it was fantastic. And I can't really disagree with that. I don't think Ben necessarily would have won, but I don't think he was getting knocked out by Jake Paul. And I kind of find it hard to believe that he did. But that's the way the fight was called, and now Jake has exactly what he wants. A bunch of other MMA fighters want to fight him now, and basically reclaim some of that MMA glory that they feel has been lost and taken from them now. But what are your guys' thoughts on the fight? Honestly, I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm glad I didn't spend the money. That's what everybody's saying. Like, the biggest losers of the fight are the people that paid $50 to see it, and then the biggest winners are Pete Davidson and Snoop Dogg. Ben is a UFC ground fighter, not a good boxer. I thought Jake was going to win the whole time. Steve, that's what Steve says. Yeah, I agree in the sense that I didn't think, from watching a bunch of stuff on Ben as I started learning about him in the lead up to this fight, I didn't think he was going to like knock Jake out. I did think he was going to win. Personally, I thought that, like, just because I mean, Jake, people are trying to tell me that Jake is this incredible fighter, and I'm not saying that he isn't. Apparently, he's been sparring with a lot of good people. But what have we seen? We've seen him fight for like 4 minutes that weren't like, he fought a YouTuber that was trash, and then he fought two YouTubers that were trash. I think one was non-professionally. He fought Deji, and then he fought that other guy that was just straight up terrible. And like, the one dude was literally like fighting like it was a joke. And then he fights Nate Robinson, who runs straight into the punches. That fight, did that fight even go 2 rounds? I think it did. It ended early in the second round. And then Ben's is 25 seconds. So it's like, it's hard for me to like, I haven't really seen him fight anybody. I think Ben even said that in the post-fight interview. He said, like, the guy asked him if he respected Jake now, and he said no, like, I don't know who he still hasn't fought anybody, like, which is funny coming from the guy he just knocked down. But again, knocked down is different than knocked out. But I think you're right that he's never been known for striking. As I did research on him and watching his videos of him, it didn't look good. And then his physique, as Kyle Miller points out, was he was not looking the best. He was very much dad bod out there. But hey, he made $500,000, so I think props to him. Props to him for being able to play the system like that. And Jake now got what he wanted. Now people want to fight him because no one wanted to fight him. That's why he had to fight Ben. So we'll see where it goes from there. Who do you guys want to see Jake Paul fight? What should be the next big YouTuber boxing match? You guys think that Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul will happen? Because I'm I'm not really sold on that. I don't know how that one will go. But I will say Logan Paul is a lot bigger than Floyd. That is like the only thing he has. But I don't know that that'll help him much. If that was a UFC fight, Jake would have zero chance. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be my favorite thing, and this will be the last thing I'll say on the topic unless people have suggestions for YouTube fights. My favorite part of the lead up to the fight was when Ben said to him in a one of the pre-conference press conference things. He goes, Jake, if I ran into you in LA, if I ran into you on the street and I wanted to do a homicide, I would do a homicide. And I don't know what it is about the phrase "do a homicide" that just had me like actually dying of laughter. But he didn't do it in the boxing ring. But yeah, I believe he probably would if it was just like straight up who could kill this other person. So good for Jake Paul, man. This is the only thing that I think anybody cares that he does, because everything else is what it is.
Thanks for watching that last video. Click right over here to see that episode in its entirety. Click over here if you want to subscribe and see more videos and other cool shit that we put out on this channel. Do it!